Hello, I am Johnny Brannon with Rock City Film Festival, previously the Made in Arkansas Film Festival, and I am incredibly excited to be talking with filmmaker Brad Burleson. And Brad Burleson is here. We're going to be talking a little bit about all the things. Brad is the director of Tippi Barb. It's a documentary that is playing opening night of our film festival on May 16th at 7 p.m., and for all those who don't know Brad Burleson, tell us about Brad Burleson.
Do you see this permagrin on my face? Like the whole time you're talking about me and calling me a director and a filmmaker and things, it's kind of surreal. So I'm super excited about Rock City this year. I want to talk about that for a second. I want to talk about the rebranding and the importance of it. So what was the thought behind it?
Well, it's funny you say that because you're also, you're with POV Film Festival in Hot Springs.
I guess I should have introduced myself, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm Brad Burleson. Am I looking at the camera? Am I just
you can look at me,
at
camera.
Okay. I am Brad Burleson, and I am on the boards of the Hot Springs Documentary Film Festival, and also Low Key Arts, which puts on the Persistence of Vision Film Festival that used to be called Arkansas Shorts, that rebranded this year to Persistence of Vision to bring in the fold of what we truly are. And that's a film festival that's more than just Arkansas Shorts. It's about features. It's about shorts from outside of Arkansas, outside of the United States. So we thought a rebranding was necessary to help capture the essence of who we truly are.
Did growth, like submissions and whatnot coming in, did that kind of like maybe we should be going this direction? And
Absolutely. It's
kind of how same with us with there was we were Made in Arkansas Film Festival, and last year Carrie and I thought, well we had a problem with filmmakers from out of state that we were trying to get to come back, like, hey, look, I know you're from Arkansas, but you're Arkansas connected, and so you can always submit. And they're like, well, we didn't think we could since we live in whatever state. And I'm like, if you dip into Arkansas, you're an Arkansan. I don't care where you go. If you move off somewhere, you'll always be an Arkansas connected filmmaker, and that's how we look at it. And once you're in the fold, you're in the fold. So Persistence to Vision, what led to that, to being from Arkansas Shorts to Persistence of Vision?
Jen Gerber. She's the mastermind behind all the things that we do. She is the one who comes up with everything, and rightly so. She has been the film director for Inception to Projection for several years now, and also has been the driving force behind the film festival for several years as well. So whatever she says, we just salute and keep marching. So,
and speaking of Persistence of Vision, Inception to Projection, that's how we met.
Yeah.
And I'll just say, so I was cast in a Inception to Projection film. For one, I don't know where I heard about it, and I've known Jen for a long time, and I knew something was going on, and then I saw, I guess, films were either being cast or they're being shot in Hot Springs. I know Hot Springs has an incredible support system with the community, and then I got cast in Ashley Missel's film, which is fantastic. And I hadn't really done a whole lot the last couple of years. I get to where I'm just kind of really, I want to be right for the project, and I want to make sure that the project, whatever I can do to help. Being a filmmaker, it's like I got to be careful. I got to stay in my lane. But I also want the projects to be, do the best I can to elevate it and whatever I can do. And so when Ashley called or auditioned for it, I was excited. And
was there really an audition? I don't think there was an audition. I think it was more of a Johnny's interested in this. Let's get him to do it. I think if he's willing to do it, you should. And I think we kind of nudged her. I was in her class for that film, and we were all kind of like, Johnny's going to be in your film. So you're saying yes.
That's
and you had the glare down. You had the Catholic father glare down. I remember that very distinctly. It was great.
It was really nerve-wracking because I hadn't done anything in a while. And so trying to stay prepared, of course, getting in front of a camera, it had been a couple of years. And so I had to shake out and I didn't really, that performance, I was like, I wish I could have done some things differently. And blessing in disguise, no pun intended, some of the footage didn't really work out, and they called me back for reshoots, and I was like, I'm ready to go. Now I'm ready to go. And so, but all that being said, that's where I met you. And what was your position on that film?
Oh, gosh. So within the Inception to Projection program, it's a 6-week course. Now it's all virtual. Most of it's virtual. And the last weekend you come together, and if I'm the director, you could be on sound. And then when you're the director, I could be the first AC. You move around so much. I have no idea what my position was on that film, because we shot 8 films that weekend. Wow. And I was on 4. And I was so involved in helping the workshopping of the other 4 that I'm like, I get a credit in your film. That's so nice of you. But I did whatever job was being done that day. So I can't tell you what I did on that film. But
you were just, but being on sets, especially when you're not sure, like you're just meeting people for the first time, and as an actor, just kind of watching from afar. Just kind of like see how the vibe is and everything like that. But I immediately felt like a really incredibly positive vibe with you.
Yeah,
you were
same.
just so laid back, and you were and that's the thing about the Inception projections is how supportive the system is. And of course, going into the support system, your films do get to play a POV once you make.
Yeah.
And so it's all
guaranteed. You are guaranteed in a film festival.
Guaranteed in your
no matter how terrible your film is. I had two pretty bad ones, and they were guaranteed in a film festival.
But watching everybody work together, watching everybody support each other, and just have each other's back, and then go to POV and watch the films and hearing everybody in that group just give the biggest cheer. It's
when you see that
inspiring.
Inception eye that comes up on the screen, you're going to hear an applause. You're going to hear something.
Yes. And every film festival has their own thing. Ours is basically just getting in the same room together. And if something didn't really work out in your film, then you can watch films and say, that's a DP that I want in my next project.
Yeah.
That's some actors I would love to cast. But going back to POV and Inception and everything, it's just such an incredible support system where everybody's got your back. You can make you're good. We got you. We will not let you fall as a filmmaker.
Right.
And if directing's not your thing, if you want to do sound, if you want to be an AD or anything like that, it's just incredible. And now I know you being with POV. What do you do? You do anything else with Inception now, or do you still make films for Inception, or do you help out? How do you?
Yes, to all the things. Yeah. So, I guess a little bit about my journey is I am. What month are we in? We're in May of 2025. I took my first class in 2023, 2022. What year? Yeah, 2022. I took my first class, and I want to fast forward for just a second. I'm now in the industry. I had a corporate job for 25 years, and worked in customer service. And so I understand the people part of it. And that's a lot of what filmmaking is especially when you're in production, which I'm in now. It's a lot of, got a lot of egos to manage. To navigate, not manage, navigate. And there are just a lot of personalities that you have to figure out and know what to do with and how to use the people that you've got and where to plug them in. And so I took a lot of that experience, took the Inception class twice. And from there, each class you make a film. And then I guess this last project I did was part of the Inception. Well, it was part of the Inception program in conjunction with the Hot Springs Documentary Film Festival. Film Institute. This documentary that I made was kind of the first thing that I've done on my own. We do the class together, but I already knew what I wanted to do, how I wanted to do it, how I wanted everything to look. I didn't need a whole lot of feedback, and I started with the editing, because we edit. You do all of it in this class. You do the editing. I'm sorry for everybody who's watching the film. I did edit it. But you do all the editing, and I was so honed in on what I wanted to do. I had 4 hours of film, and I needed to get it down to under 20 minutes for sure. But my goal was 10 to 12 minutes or so, just so it would get a good festival run. It's not too long, but you get the story in there as well. And so I started the editing process, and we had two incredible mentors for this class. Jen Gerber, number one, the director of film for Low Key Arts and the Inception program, and also Nathan Willis, who is an incredible documentarian who has made some incredible films. The most recent one about Johnny Cash and the Daisy Bates sculptures that were unveiled, that aired on PBS, Arkansas PBS, in March this year. He and Jen, it was day 3 of editing. Everybody's got their hand up, raising their hand, asking questions, and I'm just silent. I'm like, "Hey, get away from me! Get back! Don't look at what I'm doing. I'm not ready yet." And they keep coming by and just looking at me and smiling, like, "Are you good? Are you okay?" And I'm like, "I'm good. I'm good." And so finally, after like the 3rd or 4th straight day of editing, they're like, "Brad, we haven't seen anything that you've done, and we've helped everyone else. Can we ask if you're okay, if you're really okay?" And I let them look, and it was incredible to see their reaction, to know that I had created something that they were happy with. And I thought, okay, it's 20 minutes. I got to get down to 12. So that's where they came in, and they're like, "Okay, you can help here, here, and here." So back to what you said about not being able to fail. If you take this class, you're not going to fail. There's no way. It's a foolproof class. It's got such support, not only from the people who instruct it, but also from the people who are in class with you, and the people who've done it before, because they know what you're going through. And as a filmmaker, you understand, you get it.
Oh, yeah.
But to answer your original question, am I involved? What's my involvement? I am now on the board of Low Key Arts, and our job is to support the staff. And that's our executive director, the film director, and all the people who volunteer, who help put everything together. So that's truly my involvement now. Also, I try to help with fundraising. Fundraising's really hard. It is really hard, and it's getting even harder. But I try to help wherever I can. So I think one of the biggest things that anyone can do on any level is just show up, just to volunteer, whether it's at a film festival, on set, or if it's just to show up for a screening. I mean, the best thing you can do is applaud, right? Oh. So just to give that recognition that the filmmaker deserves. And so I do all these things. I do all the things.
And that's what I was wanting to get to, because I mean, we're Facebook friends, and I see all your posts, and I see all and I also follow Content Titan on TikTok. So I see your TikTok. Now I can't like every one of them, because they'll be like, "Oh, he's just," I see Brad on there, I'm like, I want to love it, but but no, you guys are incredible. I see all the TikToks too. So, but I see you doing so much, and I know you're doing like a lot of the. What else do you do besides film and community? Like as far as community goes, what else are you doing?
I don't even post all the things that I do.
Yeah.
This past weekend, we went, my fiance, his father is the mayor of Calico Rock, Arkansas.
Really?
And we tell people, a lot of people who know exactly where it is and know everything about Calico Rock. But then there are those who are like, "Where's that?" And it's halfway between Mountain Home and Mountain View. And last year, for the Arkansas Women's Hall of Fame, we do through Content Titan, we do all of the, I am fortunate enough to interview all of the women who are being inducted into the Arkansas Women's Hall of Fame. We inducted the Committee of 100, who is the auxiliary group for the Ozark Folk Center in Mountain View.
Oh, yeah.
And they are the ones who really bring in the money for that organization and the volunteers, and really spearhead all of the campaigns, all of the things that go on there. And Dylan's mom bought us tickets to go see a bluegrass band this past Saturday night, which is one of those things I'm like, I've got all these videos that I took. Should I post it? Should I make a little? But it's like, I've got to have some time for myself too. But as far as, what I do outside of filmmaking is I'm fortunate enough to live in Hot Springs. I commute in to Little Rock every day. And I lived in Little Rock for 20 years. I've lived in Hot Springs for a solid 10. And Dylan had a place here in Little Rock. We stayed here. I stayed with him a lot. It was just easy to get to work, but it was out in West Little Rock. And it's like, hey, I'm driving 30 minutes to downtown, an extra 20. We could be on the lake in Hot Springs. So we stay in Hot Springs a lot. And my weekends are during the summertime. It's a boat. It's a boat on the water. Just relax, disconnect, be one with nature. I guess I'm a modern day hippie in saying that, but also I don't stop. I don't stop.
That's one thing I noticed about you, is that there's something, and I wondered that too. I'm like, doing so much. I couldn't even imagine.
Yeah. And we talked about age. I'm pushing 50. I'll be there in a couple of years.
Gosh. See, and you're such better. I mean, you move and groove. Like, I thought you was,
lots of ibuprofen, lots of water, lots of ibuprofen. But seriously, I believe so much, not only in our film community, but our entire community as a whole, and our state, that I want to give back as much as I possibly can. I've tried so hard for so long to do as much as I can. I can't tell you the number of boards of nonprofits that I've served on, everything from our house here in Little Rock to the Hot Springs Area Community Foundation in Hot Springs. And I've mentored youth. I've taught them about the importance of nonprofits, of giving and philanthropy. And I'm learning that I don't have to say yes. I can say no. This is why we have partners to balance us out, right?
Right.
I mean, I hope Carrie is for you sometimes, and I hope you're that for her.
Oh, yeah.
But Dylan is like, Brad, you can say no. It's okay to say no. Oh. And so I'm not stepping back from anything, but I'm like, I'm not going to jump in and help you guys on this. But if you need me, I'm right here.
Dude, yeah, I get it. I totally get it. Totally get it. Dude, I think that's one of the things that, because whenever I describe you to people, he's just a spotlight. And I do say that you're one of the best humans I've ever met, because you're just a good person. And I see what you do. And I think it's really, really important, especially to our community. But because I mean, the landscape of film, as far as like independent film in Arkansas goes, has changed dramatically. Even from the days when Kelly and I were doing all this stuff. We
have to talk about who Kelly is.
Kelly Griffin, right here. He's Dream and Stream. Oh, it was Rock City. I was gonna say Dream and Stream.
We're in the studio, which is fantastic.
Fantastic. Big thanks to Kelly Griffin and Jennifer Burnett for allowing us to come in and talk with the filmmakers. And but yeah, the landscape has changed so much, and film has changed so much, and the people and the communities have changed so much. So it's really, really great to see what you're doing and the work that you're doing. And speaking of the work, love to talk about Tippi and Barb for a little bit.
Yes.
So how did Tippi and Barb, how did that come about?
It was a Kathy miracle, I guess. I'm new. I'm a new filmmaker. I don't have a formal education in film. I don't have 20 years of experience. But I think we're all storytellers. we've all got a story to tell. We can all listen. We can all talk, right? And that's all that's necessary for storytelling is you need a listener and someone who can tell a story. And I'm very fortunate, so incredibly fortunate for the work that we do through Content Titan. We're known as the Hall of Fame people. We do the Arkansas Sports Hall of Fame, Business Hall of Fame, Outdoors Hall of Fame, Waterfowler Hall of Fame. You want to talk about ecology and waterfowl and flooding rice fields and why that's important to Arkansas? I can tell you all about Stuttgart.
That's amazing.
Then there's the Women's Hall of Fame, the Legal Hall of Fame. There's so many different halls of fames that are in Arkansas, and we are fortunate enough, thanks to Nate and the hard work he's done, I now get to interview all of these people. And I was interviewing a friend of mine. I met her. We figured out the year. It was 2020. I think it was 2002, possibly. Kathy Webb had moved back to Little Rock. She grew up here, or she grew up in Arkansas. Moved to Little Rock, and in 2002, opened up a little kiosk inside the River Market. And back then, that was the original food truck. Like if you wanted an incubator, if you wanted to test out a market to see if you could open up a full restaurant, you didn't have a food truck. I mean, who would eat food out of a truck? That's gross. Wow. You went to the River Market, and you opened up a little kiosk inside the River Market. And Kathy Webb and Nancy opened up Lily's Dim Sum inside the River Market. And I worked at Millfloor a flower shop just across the way. And so I get to test all their food and eat it. And we became friends. And turns out I was going to First United Methodist at the time here in Little Rock. And her sister was my Sunday school teacher. She made the connection and figured all of it out. We became friends. We've been friends since. And when she was being inducted into the Arkansas Women's Hall of Fame, I sent her a message and told her how proud of her I was and that I was going to be the one doing her interview. And Kathy told me that I feel like I can tell my whole story, because it was with me, a person who's also gay. Kathy's a lesbian. She is very out and very proud about it. And she is also the vice mayor of Little Rock. She represents Ward 3 of Little Rock. I had signed up to do the filmmaking documentary workshop through the Documentary Film Festival, Hot Springs Doc Fest, and Low Key Arts, and was hinting around that I needed a subject for my documentary. And I wanted it to be her. Like I just sat and heard your entire story. This is a documentary. I want to talk a little more. And she said, Tippi and Barb, you need to meet Tippi and Barb. She had lunch arranged or a coffee actually arranged for us the next day with me, Tippi and Barb at Starbucks in Midtown. And so we met, we talked, and I said, I went home that day and I watched, and Dylan can attest to this, 5 to 7 hours of YouTube videos. I'm just scouring the internet, looking for everything about Tippi and Barb. I'm like, okay, what angle would I go for? And the only thing I could not find was their love story. Tippi was fired from a Catholic school here in Little Rock for marrying her longtime partner. They'd been together for over a decade, and they even met at the school. Barb was a volunteer coach. Tippi was an English teacher who also coached basketball. And they met at the school. And I'm trying to think of how not to give everything away. But that part's no secret. She was fired for marrying her longtime partner. And so I'm sitting at coffee with them. And I said, I've looked all over the internet. The only thing I can find is what happened once Tippi got fired and what happened afterwards. There's nothing about the decade, the 11 years when you guys were together. I want to talk about your love story. I want to tell your love story. And they're like, oh, gross. No, we don't want to tell that. And so that was where I was going towards with all of it. But that story just kept sticking out with them. And I did tell some of their love story. It's about half the film, but the other half is what happened once Tippi was fired. What happened after that was the all the adversity that was faced, and everything that they did, and a lot of it with Kathy Webb's help, initially push. They raised money for the Human Rights Campaign, millions of dollars. They traveled around to all the galas that the Human Rights Campaign put on. They told their story of what happened. And then it's about Tippi's rise, unlikely rise to into politics. You know, Barb's the one with the law degree. It's the lawyers who go into politics, right? I mean, they know the law. It
That's
makes
amazing.
sense. Not an English teacher. And so it's just a fantastic story that I was so very fortunate to tell. It was such an honor to sit across from them and to interview them and then to become friends with them after this. I didn't know any of this was going to happen. And if I did, I probably would not have tried to edit it myself. But that's part of the Inception class, is you have to edit. So
You did such an amazing job with it. That's the thing about that's when you was just telling me earlier about, you know, getting locked in and everything and cutting it, and how you did, you know, equally put in the love story with the second part of her, you know, becoming a congressman and or congresswoman. Let me make sure I get that right. It's just it's such an amazing story, and it's one of those that when you see it and you hear it, you're like, that's just amazing how that worked out. And being, you know, coming from a teaching profession into this, and so it's, but it's just such an amazing story. I've never met Tippi, but we got mutual friends. I think Carrie had done a lot of nonprofit beforehand, so they knew. I think they knew each other, and Carrie's probably going to be up there. I'm not doing Q&As at the festival, so Carrie's going to be up there talking to you guys. But yeah, it's just such an amazing story, and I saw it because you submitted it to our festival, and I waited. I watched it down that POV first, and I was just blown away by it. And so I was
that's
like,
so kind.
Yeah. I was like, I'm not going to wait until we see it. I want to see it in the theater. And so, but yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. And what's happening with it now? What's after, or where's it at as far as festival? Are you submit to other festivals? Is it on its way? Or where's it heading to next? Or
Well, there's a lot happening right now. We had a fundraiser. Arkansas Cinema Society asked to be a fiscal sponsor, and what that means is if you have a fiscal sponsor, you can. And I know you know this, but for everyone else, if you have a fiscal sponsor, someone can donate to the film through an organization, and that organization receives a small percentage and you receive a large percentage. Oh. So all of it's tax deductible. So people can make a donation to the film, and it goes to help fund the thousands of dollars that I've spent. This is what they don't tell you when you make a film. It's expensive after. It's not the part making. I mean, take the Inception class is minimal because so much of it has been funded by grants and by private donors that the cost is minimal to take the class. But if you want it to go to festivals, Jen always tells people to submit to free festivals. You can look on Film Freeway. You can see what's under $10, for example. But some of these are over $100. Yeah. And I've spent thousands of dollars on submissions. But you know, I have been so blessed with Kathy Webb. I told Kathy, I said, if you make this happen with Tippi and Barb, you are the executive producer. This is your role. This is the title that you get. And she kind of giggled and she said, I've always wanted to be an executive producer. That sounds fun. And so she is the executive producer of Tippi and Barb, rightly so, because she, along with Tippi and Barb, helped raise through one branch a fundraiser that brought in over $20,000. Wow. And that money has gone to pay for all the submission fees, any travel that we do for any any of the large festivals that take us outside of Arkansas. So far, we've been accepted, and thank you to Rock City Film Festival for accepting our film. It's been accepted to every Arkansas Film Festival that we've submitted to so far. And I guess the bigger news that we can't officially announce, but I think it's okay if you were to post this beforehand. I think May 6th, 7th, 8th, somewhere in there. What day is it? We're getting there. Okay. We've been accepted into the San Francisco Documentary Film Festival.
Oh, that's incredible.
Which is
congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks. I'm excited about that. I'm more excited about the Arkansas Film Festivals, though, because it's an Arkansas story, and it means more for it to be told and to be shared in a state where rights are not always promised.
Yeah.
And so for it to be shown here means so much more to me than to be shown, San Francisco, than to be shown in San Francisco, which is known as a gay mecca. But, my goal is to get this in as many red states and swing states as possible. I want people to feel supported, to know that there are people out there who have struggled. We talked about this story with Tippi and Barb. To Tippi and Barb, and they're like, everybody knows our story. Everybody's heard. They're tired of hearing about us. This was a decade ago. My partner is considerably younger than I. Well, I'm not. That sounds bad. Oh my gosh. My partner, my fiance, is younger than I am. He didn't know who Tippi and Barb were, right. And all of my coworkers at work, they didn't know their story either. So this is reaching a whole new generation of people who grew up with the gay rights movement, so to speak, happened more in my generation and in my term in the 90s and early 2000s is when that was really becoming socially acceptable. When you had TV shows like Will and Grace and other shows that had prominent gay characters, and that's all become normal now, and it's not so prevalent. It's just kind of known.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people have grown up in that environment and don't know about the struggle, don't know that there were people who never thought they could get married, who never thought that they would be considered anything other than a second-class citizen. And so to bring this story out and to show it to other people, to help them see this, it really means a lot for it to be seen here in Arkansas and here in other states that where marriage equality is up for grabs. There are acts that have been passed recently here in Arkansas and legislation in other states where they are suing the Supreme Court to overturn marriage equality. And so it's just really important for this to be out there and to be seen and the story to be heard.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that's, when you mentioned about, getting to all the festivals here in Arkansas, I think that's so important. And a lot of people, there's people who, of course, will be like, well, I think we may have too many festivals. No, every town is a new set of eyes, and regardless on where it is. And I think it's really, really important that if you can get your film out as a filmmaker in your own state, but more importantly, like Tippi and Barb especially, it's such a powerful story, and just what you just said, the reason why now is the time, especially with what's going on. And
in my opinion, there aren't enough festivals.
Yeah.
The people in El Dorado are not going to go to Rogers. The people in Rogers are not going to go over to Jonesboro. The people in Jonesboro are not coming down to Little Rock.
Yeah.
And I don't think we have enough in Little Rock. We've got a few in Hot Springs, several in Hot Springs, but they hit so many different genres that and at so many different times that it's appealing to so many different people.
It's interesting you say that. And years ago, there was a little group of us that formed a group called the Film Society of Little Rock. And from there came Kaleidoscope, which is now Real Queer, and then Fantastic Cinema, which was a genre festival that was, horror, sci-fi, all the stuff. We had that for 3 years. Kaleidoscope became Real Queer, still going on. Several friends are keeping it, going, and it's an incredibly important festival. It was the first. I don't know if there's any that's popped up since, but it was definitely the first, LGBTQ plus festival in our state.
I think it's still the only one. This past year, I helped with their hospitality this past year, and I said, hey, have you guys know about 1946, the documentary that Ken Jacobson, who's the executive director of the Hot Springs Documentary Film Festival, sent me the screener for it was February of 2024. And he sent me the screener for it. And I watched it and I said, can we get this in Hot Springs? And he said, well, I'll have to think about it. And the festival's closing. It's getting closer and closer. And I said, Ken, can we get this in Hot Springs? We have to have this here. And he said, I don't know if the public's really going to like it. And the film is about the word homosexuality. And the first time it entered the Bible was in 1946. And it was this group of men who helped with the translation of the Bible. And it talks about how the word came into existence and the two words that they took and just changed into the word homosexual. And so it basically debunks. Debunk? Is that the word?
Debunk.
Debunks. Okay. Right?
He debunks it.
Yeah, it debunks all of what we have been taught through Christianity, modern day Christianity, about homosexuality. And I said, Ken, we are ripe for this. Hot Springs will love this. We don't have a big feature of any kind. I was hoping it would be shown at a 7:00 slot during the week, but the only time that was available for it was at 1:00 on a Sunday. And I thought, the Baptists are still going to be at lunch. They're not going to see this. And I'm just picking on Baptists because I grew up Southern Baptist.
Same.
But I thought the people who I feel truly need to see this film are not going to see it. It's at 1:00 on a Sunday. And not only did the people show up, it sold out. Not only did it sell out once, it sold out twice. And that film, that 1:00 Sunday film, which in my opinion was not a good time slot, mind you, won the Audience Choice Award for the entire festival. And the Hot Springs Documentary Film Festival, for those who don't know, is the longest running all documentary film festival in North America. And to win the Audience Choice Award is a really big deal. So after it won, I reached out to Rocky Raggio, who's the director of 1946. I reached out to Rocky and congratulated her. And then months pass, Real Queer is happening, and 1946 is so popular that it's doing a tour around the United States. And I said, wouldn't it be great if we could get her here? And so I talked to Tippi, Barb, and Kathy. I sent them a link to the film. They watched it. They said, she's got to come to Real Queer. So that was the opening night film for Real Queer this past year. Oh. And Rocky came. She, Kathy, Tippi, and Barb all chipped in and brought her here. Oh, she was going in between Houston and Baton Rouge on the tour of 1946. They're hitting all the swing states before the election. And she stopped, she flew in for the night and introduced the film. I got to take her out to dinner. We've become great friends. And I introduced her to Molly and to her partner Elliot. Elliot went on to work on the road with them for a little while too.
Oh, that's amazing!
And he produced. I'm not sure, but he did film and he filmed and edited several of the first podcasts that they shot. Wow. It's a follow up to the film and introductory to their workbook and their next venture that they're doing. So
that's incredible.
Yeah, it's great. But it's these connections, that we make, and it's the networking and it's the putting yourself out there and doing and not stopping, right? Yeah. That we should all be doing to help encourage other filmmakers, producers, people who put on film festivals, people who support the arts and everything that's related to it.
Absolutely, 100%, and of course, anytime I see you, like when I think the last time I always feel horrible when I don't get to say goodbye. And I was going to mention this.
I ghost a lot. I do the Irish exit. I'm like goodbyes or downers. People are like, no, don't leave.
No,
like,
we got to talk.
Oh no, I'm going to sneak out. I'm sneaking out, and I usually say, hey, I'm sneaking out.
Well, see, so yesterday when I was at Rogers, I felt horrible because there's a few friends up there, and I keep me every time we bump it up, we got to talk, and then I'm out the door. Same. So we screened yesterday at 2:30 or 2 o'clock, and then I was talking to Tamara Corley Davis from El Dorado. And I was trying to sneak out, and then we started talking, and I was like, I don't want to keep you. And she was like, whoa. And she was there, and Clayton was there, and then she went inside. I was like, okay, well, I'll go in there and sit. And I sit there, and I knew I had to get back. And then Catherine Forbes, who was in my film book club, she was sitting next to me, and then I was like, I really can't stay. I mean, I'm just kind of sitting here. And then, but Tamara's sitting up in the front. And I'm like, okay, listen, I got to go. I will see you guys in a couple of weeks. And I got out. But I always feel bad, though, whenever I got to leave. Because I don't know if it was at POV or one of the festivals, but I saw you and we were chatting. And I said, there's things we need to talk about. And, of course, we never, we go our separate ways. And then life. And then... So we don't ever get a chance to you know what? Let's just have lunch or something like that. Yeah. So we need to do that.
I'm in. Sure. I'll buy. Okay.
I'll buy you lunch. I'll buy you lunch. Well, let's see here. So I guess in terms of wrapping this up, this has been incredible. I'm so glad we got a chance to sit down and talk, and just to talk. Not just about, just film and festivals, just film in general, just all things films. Yeah. But I wanted to ask a couple of things that will probably totally catch you off guard.
I love this.
And it's super, super simple.
Oh, man. I want something spicy.
It could be spicy. It could be spicy. So either 5 or 3, what is your top 5 or even 3 favorite films of all time?
Oh, gosh. Definitely off guard. Can I tell you, I have to admit to you, I don't watch a lot of films. I really don't. I don't. I am now medicated, but for the first 45 years of my life, I was walking around with undiagnosed ADHD. So I wish TikTok had existed in the 90s.
Same.
Because I would have thrived. That's where I live now. You really want to know? You really want to know my top 3?
If you have.
Oh, I've got them. I'm just.
Yeah.
Okay. You're not going to get much depth from me.
Okay.
Pitch Perfect.
Okay.
Mean Girls. Okay. I'm a 13-year-old girl at heart. Are you picking up on this?
Yes.
I love Still Magnolias. 9 to 5.
I saw 9 to 5 in the theater.
Did you really?
When I was 8, like 7 or 8. Yes. Love it. I love it. Yeah.
I love The Godfather. I love all the Superman movies. I'm not a fan of like Marvel DC stuff, but you get back to like the 80s versions of Batman, Superman, I'm in. Christopher Reeve, the best of all times. His documentary, did you see it?
Oh, yes.
Holy smokes. I cried in the first 2 minutes. I'm bawling. Dylan went and took a shower. He comes out. He's like, what's wrong? I'm like, he's like, I just left you for a minute. So I think that's probably my top 5-ish list.
And I was so curious because and I forgot I was going to ask you this ahead of time, and it's just like kind of what got you into wanting to make films. What got you into wanting to make films?
Who or what? So, it's ironic that we're sitting in the studio right now because the owner of this building brought me by this studio just a couple of months ago, Greg Nabholz.
Yeah.
He gave me my first pass to the Little Rock Film Festival and invited me to a party that was on the rooftop here.
Yes.
Famous parties used to happen here. And I think a hot tub was sometimes involved. I know alcohol was always involved.
Always involved.
And I saw the film Bridegroom.
Yeah.
And Shane Bitney Crone was here.
Yeah.
And in this building, and then went, to the Hot Springs Documentary Film Festival with the film later on in October. I think Little Rock Film Festival may have happened. It was summertime, like July, August-ish, possibly.
May. It was May.
May, okay. It was hot.
Yes.
And in Arkansas, that could be anywhere between February and December, right?
It could be, yeah.
And met Shane. It was, anyway, to answer your question, it was Greg. And he gave me my first pass to a film festival. And I thought, wow, I've got a chance to meet the person who did that and have a conversation with them. And they expect it. They encourage it. And I had questions during the Q&A. I spoke to the filmmakers after, and the same at Hot Springs at the Doc Fest. And from there, once I moved to Hot Springs a few years later, I became really involved in the community. When I dive in, I dive all the way in. And now I am one of the two head judges of the Hot Springs. It's called the Stuart Pennington World Championship Running of the Tubs.
That happens yes.
every June. But that's the pinnacle. That's higher than the mayor, to be honest. But it was Greg who introduced me to Little Rock Film Festival, and then later on that year, the Hot Springs Documentary Film Festival. I moved to Hot Springs. I get involved in the community, and I start volunteering. And then I started organizing the parties, and then I become a board member. And it was through that organic series of events that led me into, wait a second. So you're telling me I can make a film? Like, I can do this here in Hot Springs, and it's how much? Like, I can afford to do this? Like, I get a whole crew and everything? And it was that. It was Greg who made the introduction, but it was Jen Gerber, who is one of my dearest friends. And I am very fortunate to call her such a dear friend. But it was Jen who, as I am putting on these parties, helping make a different theme every night. There's a lot of nights. That festival's 9 days, and there are 11 parties in those 9 days.
Oh my gosh.
And coming up with different themes and different specialty cocktails and making every space look different. It's a lot of work. The whole time Jen's telling me, Brad, you're a producer, you're a producer, you're a producer. I'm like, I don't know what a producer is. My business card that I didn't even make says producer. I still don't know what a producer is. And so she says, you're a producer. And when this opportunity came up, I lost my job. The most important part of my whole story is I lost my job at 45. I had a 25-year career and lose my job. And then I took what I knew, and through Jen's pushing me into this, she was like, Brad, you need to move into filmmaking. But Jen is the one who really showed me that I had it within me all along. Back in the 90s, I wanted to get a degree in radio, TV, film from UA Little Rock. And back then you went to work for a TV station, and that was the end of the road. That was the only thing that was offered, unless you were one of the very select who went to work for Jones or someone here in town, one of the two maybe, or, that was here in town, a Dempsey, I think.
Yep. Dempsey,
right. Yeah. Those were your options, and you didn't get those jobs. That didn't come open very often. So I ignored that altogether. And 20 plus years later, almost 30 years later, here I am, full circle. And man, I'm happy to join the party. I mean, I've been in line for a long time.
It's such an amazing story, and you know what you're doing now is just incredible. How this all I'm just learning all this,
right?
And I wasn't sure, because this is the first time we're doing this, and I wasn't sure how long it was going to be, and I still don't know how long it's going to be. And I thought, well, I didn't want to take up too much of your time, and I don't know what's going to happen.
I'm like a little wind-up toy, though. You're just turning. You're just turning. I'm dance monkey dance.
Absolutely.
I'll do it.
No, it's fantastic.
All day.
But no, it's just great to be able just to kind of just to get to know you.
Yeah.
Get as many people as possible to know about Tippi and Barb, and hopefully we'll have a sellout. Hopefully we'll have a sellout.
Do you want to sell it? I can get a sellout. You want it? You want it to sell out?
Oh, that would be fantastic.
Okay, cool. Done.
Yes. We, well, whew. No, I guess I better wrap this up. Brad, I tell you, and I probably said this a while ago, I'm really, really glad that we got a chance to sit down and talk.
Same.
And we need to do this more often. And just come hang out.
I agree, 100%. It's an honor to call you a friend. It's an honor to be here. What you and Carrie have done and continue to do for our film community is so commendable, so respectable, and there are so many people who won't even say it, but thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate you. And you're doing some amazing things, and you're kicking.
Would you call it the Lord's work?
The Lord's work. Yes, I guess so. I would. Well, maybe I don't know. But you're kicking doors down, and that's really, really important. And I will be there with you, kicking doors down too.
Well, it's because of people like you that allow that to happen. So thanks for giving me a shot. Thanks for giving me a chance. Thanks for believing in me and the film and the things that I do. And thanks for showing up for our community, because you are always there. You are at the festivals. If you're not there, you are promoting the heck out of them as if you were there. And that's what's important. And that's what our community truly needs, is people who really support and really care and do it genuinely. And I believe you do that. So it's an honor to be here. I'll do anything in the world for you. Anytime you need something, I am always here.
Oh, thank you. And this should be all pointed towards you. You're my guest. You as well. You know, you're doing anything that I could ever do. You're just amazing. And well, thank you so much for coming up here and hanging out with me. And
this has been great.
So that is. I don't know how I'm going to wrap this up, but thank you.
Let's do a couple different versions.
Let's do a couple of versions.
Yeah.
Thank you, most importantly, to Brad and Kelly. Brad for being here, Kelly for hosting us. Dream and Stream podcast studios right here in Argenta. Thank you, Brad Burleson, filmmaker, content creator, producer, director, all the things, and for being up here and of course, come see Brad Friday, May 16th at 7 p.m. at Ron Robinson Theater at our opening night of Rock City Film Festival. We're more than honored to have Brad's film, Tippi Barb, in, so please come see it.
I can't wait.
And thank you guys, and we'll be back soon. So until then, we'll see you next time.
Yeah. Okay, now do a short one. Do a 5-second one. Do that in 7 seconds.
7 seconds.
Yeah.
Thank you, Brad. Kelly, loved it. Let's become blah blah blah. Can't get it out. My brain doesn't work that fast.
10 seconds. Do a short one. Do one that you won't have to edit.
Thanks for coming by. See you guys soon. Till next time. Peace.